Hello, my name is David Greenawalt, and this is my final presentation for Sociology 101. An ongoing question has come up between Americans and worldwide leaders. Can you flip this switch? Congratulations, you said no. 40% of Americans now are opposed to the death penalty. So, with that being said, do you have the guts to say yes? Do you have the guts to actually pull the trigger on somebody else's life? This is a movie called The Green Mile. Tom Hanks starred in it, along with a lot of other characters. This was a sad movie, because an innocent man was put to death. So, the question is, do you still have the guts to flip the switch? Tidbit of information. Right now in the United States, 61% of Americans are in favor of the death penalty. This information came to us from the Gallup poll. Back in 1966, it was only 47%. As you can see, when one opposes, one's in favor, there's alignment. So with this, we're going to look at three perspectives regarding the death penalty and crime. One being the functionalists. The second one, the conflict theory. And the third one, the interactionists. The functionalists, they view society as stable and well integrated. People have jobs to do. It's a certain function in life. And social order is maintained through consensus. Everybody agrees. So, examples of the functionalists are the lawyers, the laws, police officers, and even the criminals. Because if we didn't have criminals, there'd be no need for lawyers, or police, or judges. Every person in the list has a job to do. And when they all work together, it's one whole entity. So, with functionalists and crime, every day criminals are incarcerated. And it takes the laws as a whole to keep the criminals at bay. With regards to the death penalty, the same three services of the law are used, but that's just for the incarceration. Now, when putting someone to death, it's a total long process. There are 4 stages that has to be gone through. One being the automatic appeal. The second, state habeas corpus petition. The third, federal habeas corpus petition. And then the fourth one, clemency. So these documents are governed by our own government. And they're the ones who decide whether one person lives or dies. With the conflict theorist, there's a constant struggle. The conflict theorists don't understand which way to go. They're being pulled one way or the other, depending on which one has the upper hand. The laws are put in place to keep order, and they say that inequalities, there is many of them, if any equal people work together, they say there wouldn't be as much crime. And usually, a known fact, the lower the social class, the more the individual is forced into criminality. So conflict theorist examples. So the government groups are part of the functionalist group. So what's part of the conflict group? So that would be the laws. You have the functionalist, you have the conflict, and under the conflict you have those laws. So this conflict theory, are part of the people that are in it are the ones that are in authority. And it also includes people that are undetermined on which way they want to go, depending on the ones in power or the ones not in power. So the ones in power may be saying, hey, come our way. This is the way you should believe. Where the other ones, maybe the poor, the destitute, are trying to pull them the other way. Hey, I'm innocent. Trust me. So conflict theory and crime. So with the conflict theory, as a perspective of the death penalty, theorists will analyze to make up the following. They want to know the makeup of the defendants. Is there some type of racial perspective with it? Is there something that the person is actually poor? Or are they rich? What type of lifestyle are they living? They also want to know what the crime was on the victim. Was it a heinous crime? Was it a petty theft crime? Also, they want to know about the jurors and the judges making the decision. The jurors and the judges, depending on where they're from, will most likely dictate what happens to the one on trial. So with all the ones that are listed, it's common, public art rules, that when the media gets hold of this type of information, there's a prejudice that goes out. The ones on trial, being poor, being rich, who knows? They look at them differently. They look at them at that, oh, all poor people are criminals. It's stereotyping. Didn't say it's right. It's what it is today. So we're going to look at interactionist theorist examples. So the interactionists are the ones that are involved with the actual decision making. They're the ones who make up the deciding vote. They're the ones also who try to manipulate others. Those are the ones that are going to be going to the conflict theorists and say, hey, come our way. Trust me. I know what I'm talking about. So these are also the ones that obey the laws. And they make their decision upon what's been happened in the past, what they've gone through, what their family's gone through. They're more of a microorganism. They dwell on the little things. Where you have the functionalists and the conflict theorists, they're a macro group. The interactionists are a micro group. They will take a piece apart and make it real small so they can understand every aspect of the crime. some of the examples of the interactionists. Apologize, it's the interactionists in crime. They're going to focus on the daily behavior. What was actually happening with the person? What was going on with the crime? They don't want to say, hey, who is it? What was the crime? That was it? No, they want to know step by step. That's why it goes into a micro. They're going to break it down into little pieces and find out from start to end, what the actual balance of the equation is. It's just a statement saying that societies need a certain level of crime to clarify norms. Pretty much saying, hey, you know what? If we don't have crime, what are the police going to do? This is normal. And I'm not saying it's right, but the norm is actually having crime out there. You're expecting it. You're expecting somebody to steal something. That's why we have insurance too. So this is stereotyping. Labeling criminals tends to reinforce rather than deter crime. So people are going to say, hey, you know what? He's black. He's a criminal. That's stereotyping. He's poor. He's a criminal. That's stereotyping. When that happens, people get upset. The poor get upset. African Americans get upset. It's not right. This is a tidbit of information regarding the, back in 2001, the U.S. Department of Justice put this information out there, what goes on with the crime, or how much crime there is. So you can see in this depiction here that every 1.3 minutes, there's a robbery. Every 34 minutes, there's a murder. I mean, that's one extreme to another. One vehicle every 27 seconds. One assault every 34 seconds. So, do we think that the actual United States is getting lax on the death penalty? Maybe. Maybe not. Maybe they have too much red tape. I don't know. So that's what it says. 34 minutes. Every 34 minutes, somebody is killed. Murdered. Not just by an accident. Murdered. So, in 2008, there was 46 murders committed in the United States every day. It's too much. Shouldn't be one. So, with that being said, isn't it kind of surprising that only 60% of Americans approve of the death penalty? They're in favor of it. So, I did my own poll. I was at work. I went around and asked people. And out of 20 people, 2 people said they oppose it. That's 90% of the people said they're in favor of the death penalty. I am not here to coerce you into telling you that the death penalty is correct, or that's the way to go. I'm not one of the interactionists. I'm just giving you the information on how it's depicted to me. So, the question is, can you flip this switch? With that being said, with 46 murders happening every day, can you flip the switch? Yes? No? Can you look at somebody in the eye and say, listen, I'm going to put you to death because of what you've done? It's something to come out and say, hey, I know what you've done. It's not right. And I think you should rot in jail. But can you actually pull the trigger on somebody? Can you flip that switch? once again, this is my final project for Sociology 101. I'd like to thank you very much for your time and hope you enjoyed the presentation.